games left. How much do you tell the players, look, we can get this done to make the tournament and be part of the activity?
Yeah, I think what we've talked about is just approaching. We started it, I think, after the Ohio State win going into Minnesota was we had these 4 games left, and we just talked about approaching each game like they're postseason games, and if you were preparing for a postseason game, what level of preparation would you give? How much sleep would you get? How excited would you be to play and to compete? And I thought our guys carried that out in Minneapolis the other night. They played with a sense of urgency. They played hard. They competed. And that's really all we want. I mean, we just got to take the game to tomorrow. All we can control is we got Iowa tomorrow night. And I'm not good enough in math with all the things. My kids make fun of me. They said the only reason I got admitted to Duke was because of my jump shot, not because of my academic acumen. So, to get into how you get in and tie break, just you got to go out and compete and hopefully win some games. I mean, it's a really tough league. You got to stay with what's in front of you, and just proud of how our guys continue to battle and fight no matter what's been thrown at them this year.
Yeah, you touched on it at the end there. What do you like about the way this team has kind of fought back the last couple of games? It seems like it could have been pretty easy for this team to sort of give up with all the injuries and losses.
Yeah, just the resiliency and kind of the culture that the older guys have continued to create day in and day out. Really proud of Ty and Matt and Nick in particular, those 3 guys that have been a part of a lot of winning and have kind of seen this year unfold with some craziness, right? Unexpected injuries, crazy things in games, crazy endings. It's been one of those kind of years where these guys have had a lot of curveballs thrown at them. And to your point, they've had every reason to say, you know what, maybe it's just not in the cards. And they haven't done that. They keep getting off the mat. They keep battling. They keep fighting. And that's what was really fun for me to watch, especially these last 2 games, to see these guys rewarded for their continued effort and commitment to what we're trying to do.
Chris, how long has this season felt?
Pretty long, especially too for us. We went overseas, this summer, so it was an extra month, and then, right away Brooks gets hurt in August, and before we went, and that kind of threw a wrench into things. We knew he was going to be out for a while, and we've just kind of had to reinvent ourselves. I think 3 or 4 different times. The first part of the season we didn't have Brooks. Then Brooks was back. Then we kind of figured out how to play with him, and Leach then emerged as a really good player, and you kind of had those 3 guys with him, Nick and Brooks playing really well and playing off those guys, and then still having Ty coming off his knee and Matt off his foot. And then we lose Brooks, and then we lose Jalen, and you just kind of trying to figure it out as you go along. So the good thing about it was it doesn't seem as long when you enjoy being around your guys. And that's what I have always, loved about being here is, being around these guys. So even when you're going through losses and really tough times, when you're around good people that are about the right things, it makes it a lot easier.
What's your thoughts on the fact with the expansion that some teams can't make the postseason?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it at all. I think all of us are unanimous. We met in the spring, and we get it. The league's in a tough spot, when you try to put the puzzle together, 18 teams with TV windows and, when you'd have to start the tournament and having everybody included. I just think the positives far outweigh whatever negatives there might be. And you look at our league this year, you're probably going to have 3 teams left out that are going to have 5, 6, 7 wins. You're not talking about a 1-19 team, a 2-18. You're going to talk about a team that has 5 or 6 or even 7 wins, not get the opportunity to go to Indianapolis and play. I think it's a disservice to the players. These kids get a small opportunity. It is what it is, and I get it. It's a hard puzzle, but we got really smart people in our league office, and hopefully they can figure it out going forward, because I'm not a fan of the current state of how it is for this year.
Did you guys get a say in that at all? And do you feel like they're open to changing it?
I hope so. Yeah, we definitely got a say. I think the decision was made. The other part about it too is I'm always big on rewarding the people who are winning. When it comes to postseason awards, when it comes in, and I feel like every time I'm a basketball junkie, so I watch a lot of games. I feel like every time I turn on a Big Ten game, all we're talking about is the teams at the bottom of the league. And why aren't we talking about the job Coach Izzo's doing and them being 15-3 and what Dusty May's doing at Michigan and how Purdue's winning without Zach Edey, what Kevin's done at Maryland to turn that around. And instead we're talking about the bottom 5 or 6 fighting for the last 3 spots. And I get it, and it's what we do at the NCAA tournament. It's bubble time. But I just think it's wrong. we should be talking about the teams that are playing the best and who's going to win the league championship, not who's going to get left out of the Big Ten tournament. That's just my opinion.
KJ just coming on here lately. What
Yeah.
have you seen out of him? How important is that, not just for this year, but going forward?
Yeah, I mean, I just am really proud of his growth. Just his ability these last 3 games to play under pressure and to make good decisions. He had 7 assists in our last game. Had a big game at Ohio State with his scoring as well. I just think there's no substitute for game experience. And now with kind of the way we're constructed, he's been in a position where he's got the ball in key situations and he's making decisions. And there's going to be good and bad in that, especially with a freshman. But it's nice to see growth. And I really felt like as, we had those injuries, this last 8 to 10 games were going to be really important for him and Angelo, but also for Nick too. I think this has been a really important stretch for him to learn how to be the number 1 guy. As he goes into the offseason, everybody's trying to stop him, double teams, triple teams. And not only that, his leadership. He's been forced with Brooks and Jalen out now to have a bigger voice, to command the huddles, to be outward with the other guys. And, I feel like for everybody, but for those 3 guys in particular, I felt like these last 8 to 10 games without Brooks and Jalen were going to be really important for their development.
How much does it matter to have 2 of the last games at home?
Well, I hope it matters. I mean, we love playing in Welsh-Ryan. This is the last few years. It's been fun to play at home. We've had success. Our fan base and our students have come out and really supported this team. And I hope these guys deserve it. We got 2 more opportunities to come in front of the hometown and home fans. And, I hope they can be sellouts. I hope the students will come out. And I hope they see a group that's out there fighting. We've had things happen to us, injuries, guys being out, but they show up every night and they fight for the jersey and the name on the front of the jersey, which in a lot of instances you don't see that a lot in college basketball anymore. People who care, about the name on the front of the jersey, and these guys do. So hopefully there'll be great crowds and we'll have an opportunity to compete and give ourselves a chance to win.
Coach, you talk about fighting for the name on the front of the jersey. How have you seen that with somebody like Jordan Clayton, who's burned the red shirt and been willing to take big rotation?
Yeah, I think it's a great testament to who he is, character-wise. For him to not have played the first 20-plus games of the year and to see Jalen go down and Brooks go down, 2 guys who really were kind of the guys who were our playmakers and ball handlers. And I think he realized, he was needed, and he was the one who initiated that with me. He came to see me on the off day right after Jalen got hurt, and he said, "Coach, I can help. I want to get out there and play." And so, we've put him in there, and he's done a really good job. I thought he gave us great minutes the other night against Minnesota, and he's getting more comfortable with each game. But I think it just goes to show kind of what the guys in this program are about and how they care about each other and how they want to be there for each other, which makes the coach really happy.
The defense has really upped its level the last few games. What do you think the key for that has been?
I just think the sense of urgency. I think the guys understand, not that they didn't before, but when you take 31, 32 points a game off the board, you better defend, because, we're not really equipped to score 80, 90 points, and I think, our guys have taken that to heart and really understood that if we want to give ourselves a chance to win, we got to manage possessions, we got to play really good defense, we got to be gritty and tough, and that's the reason why we've given ourselves a chance and actually won these last couple games.
Chris, on Monday, Sunday night's always emotional, but to walk out there with Ryan,
Yeah.
what do you think that's going to be like?
It's going to be tough. It just takes me back when I was a kid. You go full circle, being a ball boy, and being there with my dad. And, the first 8 years coaching, you don't know what it's like. But then for the last 4 years, to have Ryan with me every practice, and as your kids get older, they become your friends, so to be able to joke around and go on the road, and what amazing memories, we've created together with the tournaments and the big wins. So I'm getting a little emotional now just thinking about it. I gotta keep it in check, but it's going to be really special for sure.
A chance that maybe he can suit up and
yeah, I wish. Unfortunately, they have a crazy rule where, now where managers can't be transferred into players. that would be pretty cool one time, though, to see him get out there and warm up and put the jersey on. But he shows off before the game. That's his, just like I used to do. It makes people come up to me all the time. It's funny. They're like, your boy can shoot, because he's out there an hour before the game when people are kind of, and that's what I used to do in the United Center. I used to, when I was a kid, the teams would be in the locker room and the fans would come in, and I'd be trying to put on a three-point clinic out there. And I remember one night, one of my greatest memories was a big game. The Pistons were in town, the Bad Boys, and I was out there shooting, and I made like 10, 11, 12 NBA threes in a row, and I was 13 years old, and the crowd started cheering me on. And, I was always one to like the moment, so I kind of played up to it, and it's something I'll never forget. So he shows off before the game, I know, and it's been a special 4 years. People know when you're in this thing, it's a family business, and not very often. You've seen it with other coaches have their sons be walk-ons or managers or what have you. To have that 4 years together and to have this time has been something that I'll never forget. What's that? Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Chicago Stadium. That's how old I am. My bad. She's right. I wasn't in the United Center. Chicago Stadium. So, yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks, man.
Awesome.
Who's on the line getting into the tournament?
Yeah, it's definitely do or die. We've kind of had that same mentality, like the last couple games leading up to this one, starting, Nebraska, we have to win to kind of get to where our aspirations are at. So, yeah, they're definitely do or die games.
What was the message from Chris to you guys about this stretch?
Yeah, I mean, obviously he stayed positive throughout all the stuff that's happened, and but he still has that edge to him that he's always had. He still has high expectations for the team, and that's what we need. We have high expectations for ourselves. So, yeah, he's just been great throughout.
Chris is saying he's not a big fan of the fact that not every team makes the Big Ten tournament. How do the players feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think – obviously we want to be at the top half of the league regardless. So I kind of, I think that it's a good opportunity to kind of prove that, you're kind of in that top 16 team. So, but yeah, obviously it's a lot different just with all the new teams and stuff. But we're just trying to fight to get in it. So.
How have you embraced being more of a leader down the stretch with some of the guys who've been missing, just as you've even become more vocal in the huddles?
Yeah, I think obviously with Brooks and Jalen out there, both pretty vocal. But yeah, they've done a great job even on the sideline. Brooksy on the road, he's helped us for sure. But yeah, just I understood that I obviously needed to voice, my opinion on things more like what they were doing, when they were here, the older guys. So yeah, I think it's really pivotal, going into next year, just kind of having that leadership role. So it's been a great opportunity.
Nick, given everything that's happened this year, from questionable calls and games to injuries on the team, and what can you say about the fight of this team that you guys are still in contention for March Madness?
Yeah, I mean, stuff happens to every team. Every team goes through, they have injuries to, core guys and calls not go their way. And we understand that, and it doesn't matter. We have to win. That's the standard here. So we don't want to make any excuses for, what's happened. It's been a little bit crazy, but we're not going to make any excuses down the stretch these next couple games.
Hey, have you seen teams defend you since Brooks and Jalen went out? Any differently?
A little bit, differently. Just they're able to come from different spots for traps, but we have a ton of guys that come off the bench that can score, that can make shots. So it's definitely helped. Like KJ, Jello, Justin, Ty's been making a ton of shots, which helps a ton, avoiding kind of these trap situations.
You won the last 2 games on the road. You get to win. You get to play 2 of your last 3 at home. How much does that matter to you?
Yeah, we love playing at home. Just to get in front of the crowd and yeah, we fight super hard at home, and we know that we like to win, especially these last 2 games, a ton of games at home. So hopefully we can do that these next 2.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nick, Coach talked about Jordan Clayton's hindsight. It's nice to be able to step up on the injuries. What have you seen from him that shows you think, this heart is good for this team?
Yeah, just his commitment to the team is something that's special. With 8 games left in the season to burn your red shirt, that just tells you something about his character. He's such a great kid, and every day, wanting to do extra. That's something that really stood out to me from Jordan coming in was the fact that he always wanted to do extra and he always cared, about the team more than himself. So yeah, it was definitely, I knew right when Coach asked him. I called him and was like, I already know what your answer is going to be. So yeah, it was definitely, I'm just happy for him. He's done such a great job so far.
Thank you. Only have 3 games left. How do you look at the picture? You really need to win some of these games in order to get into the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, we always got to take every game one by one, but these last 3 games aren't only probably the biggest that we have, saying that it can determine if we make the Big Ten tournament alone, but it can determine if I even have any more games in my college career. So these are kind of the biggest games that I've probably had in my college career so far.
Have you been thinking about this being your last year and what it means to you at this point?
A little bit. I mean, it's my last year here, and I've kind of called this my second home kind of way. So it does mean a lot to me, and trying to finish kind of what we wanted to set as the standard here, which is winning. And we kind of need to do that. I mean, this year hasn't gone the way that we hoped it has, but we can make it finish how we want it to. So we just got to kind of control what we can and make that happen.
How has this group sort of stayed through all the struggles, all the injuries, the losses, and you guys are still fighting? You got a couple of big wins here the last couple
Yeah, I mean, it's never easy when you lose key parts of your team. I mean, we lost Brooks and we lost Leach. So it affects us in big ways. But, I mean, going back to last year, it was kind of the same thing. We played games where we didn't have Borg and we didn't have Ty, and then at times we didn't have me too. So there's always been the resilience that we have in this team to kind of overcome adversity. And it's just kind of a testament to the team that everybody can play. There's not heavy-sided one player kind of thing. Everybody's a good player on this team, and I think that's what helps us out a lot.
That was been the key to kind of putting complete games together. That was a struggle for a while. You have a good half and then a bad half.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, I feel, is our defensive ends. We kind of, at times, have had bad second half defensively or bad first halves. And we just had to kind of put it together. And these last 2 games, that's what we've done. I mean, with Ohio State holding to 49, which at the time was the record for this year, but shortly overcame by. But we held it on for a little bit, which was nice. But it kind of showed what we can do, which is, I think, is going to help us a lot because we kind of know what to expect now. We know what we have to do in order to win games.
Wrap us up. All right,
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.